Jim Rogers is here with me. He may not agree on buying America. We're going to talk about that. Here is the dirt on where the smart money has been heading. It is going into the ground. Over the past 3 years, the S&P Agricultural Index has tripled in value off the boom in biofuels. As a result, my next guest says the bull run in agriculture may last for another 15 years. He's Jim Rogers, international investor, author of the book Hot Commodities. He is here on set. Jim, always nice to see you.
I am ecstatic to be here, Maria. Nice to see you.
How have you been?
I've been fine.
Traveling all around the world. First off, do you agree with Larry Kudlow, buy America?
Well, I hardly ever agree with Larry. I try not to.
It's true.
When I find out what he thinks, then I have to think the other thing. I wouldn't buy American shares right now. I mean, I am an American and I love America and live here, but I don't think I'd buy American shares, no.
So what do you think happens sort of in the next year or second half of the year? We've been seeing all these interest rate rising worries sort of creep in. Think that's going to continue to cause volatility and perhaps selling?
Well, I'm short bonds. I've sold bonds short, so I expect the interest rates to continue to go higher. I expect interest rates to go higher for years to come, not every quarter or every year, but yes, we're going to see a lot higher interest rates, and I would worry about that. I think the stock market in America is vulnerable, but I've been thinking that for a few months, and so far it hasn't worked.
It's amazing, this liquidity story intact, and so many people worry that we're going to have an upset in China. You obviously go back and forth to China all the time. You were there a few months ago. What's your take on the Shanghai market right now? Yes, it sells off, but it doesn't seem to cause the ripple effects that a lot of people think.
No, listen, very few foreigners have ever invested in China. So even if China collapses, it's not going to affect most of us, and very few Chinese have ever invested outside of China. So that whatever happens in China is not going to affect most of us. Yes, I own Chinese shares and I would worry. But Maria, there's an incipient bubble developing there. If China doubles again this year, I'll have to sell, and I don't want to sell, because then it would be a full-fledged bubble, a full-fledged mania, and that's always a disaster. I hope the government can do something, or somebody can do something to calm it down, and if so, maybe I can buy more.
So what do you see when you're there? I mean, a lot of people say it's sort of this just rush to buy equities. All of a sudden, everybody and we talked about this in America years ago, where the taxi driver wanted to, even if you didn't really understand what you're investing in, you're there. Is that what you're seeing in
Maria,
China?
The taxi driver has hocked his tax, and he's down at the brokerage firm. You go into the taxi. You go into the brokerage firms in China, and it's just masses of people. It's the New York City subway or something. They're all in there buying, and everybody's flocking in there. The government's saying to them, this is crazy. They interview the people, and they say, I don't understand anything about stocks, but I know I have to buy them. It is madness.
So you're not selling right now, but you're not necessarily thinking that you want to be committing new capital to the Chinese market.
I wouldn't buy Chinese shares with anybody's money right now. But I don't want to sell. I mean, I hope that I own these shares for the rest of my life. But if it turns into a full-fledged bubble, I'll have to sell.
Let's talk about agriculture. That has been an area that you've been making money and certainly recommending for a long time. You think this market has a 15-year rally ahead?
Well, back to what Larry said, buy America. Well, listen, yes, there are a lot of farmers in this country. There's a lot of agriculture in this country, and that's going to be one of the great growth areas of the United States and the world for the next 5, 10, 15 years. I don't know if it's going to last 15 years, but the bull market has many, many years to go.
What's driving it, Jim?
The number of acres devoted to wheat farming has been declining for 30 years. The food inventories in the world are the lowest level they've been since 1972. Many acres are being diverted to ethanol, which we're going to burn in our gas tanks. More acreage for corn to go to the gas tanks, less acres for cotton, less acres for soybeans, less acres for everything else. So it just means prices have to continue up and up. And Maria, we haven't had a major drought worldwide in years.
Would that be something that would be sort of something to watch in terms of, what might turn this story around?
Well, if we have a drought, the price of corn and cotton and everything else is going to skyrocket. It's going to go through the roof. If that starts happening, we'll have people will cut back on the consumption of food and agriculture. People will plant more. But usually in the old days, droughts came in clusters like 2 every 5 years or something. If that starts happening again, this bull market's got many years to go.
What is the ethanol factor here? We had a guest on earlier that said, look, all of this attention on ethanol, and obviously it comes from corn in one production of it, and that's one of the reasons behind it. Do you think that's adding to it?
Oh, of course. I mean, everybody is planting corn because they make a lot of money with the ethanol. The government is subsidizing. Ethanol is not going to solve our energy problems. It doesn't matter. The government loves it because they can buy votes from the farmers, and they will. But that's going to make all of our food problems for you and me much, much, much worse, because with fewer acres going into other products, the prices of everything has to go up. This is not good for anybody.
So you say the government is lying to us about inflation. Tell me about
Yes,
that.
don't you know? I mean, you don't shop. Your butler does your shopping. I
Right,
know,
yeah.
But, you know, the rest of us who see what's happening to prices, electricity, entertainment, education, healthcare, everything is going through the roof. And the government sat there today and said food prices are down. Where do they shop, Maria? Where do they shop?
Well, when you look at milk, cheese, meat, I mean, all the staples, they're up.
Everything's
Yeah.
up. What are they talking about? Your corn?
So how is it possible that they're saying they're down? I mean, clearly, when you look at the numbers,
they're lying to us. They're lying to us. They do something called hedonically adjust. Hedonism. They're showing us a good time. They adjust the prices to say that they're not up. I mean, this is madness.
Yeah.
But more and more people are starting to catch on.
So you think inflation is an issue right now?
I know it's an issue right now. I know that the prices are going up. You pointed out the minute ago on the TV the chart of agriculture. Prices are going up.
Yeah.
You know, in the real world, you cannot adjust those prices. The price of zinc, oil, cotton, everything is going through the roof.
So how do I make money on that? Do I want to buy an ETF? Do I want to buy an index? Do I want to buy the raw commodity? How, as an investor, can I make money on this?
Well, the studies show the best way to do it is to buy the raw commodities themselves, and the best way to do that is to buy an index. But if you're really good at buying individual commodities, you should buy the commodities. The studies all show you would make 300% more investing in commodity index funds than commodities themselves. Most people can't do that, though, so you can buy an ETF. You can even buy companies, but that's the studies show you'll make more investing in commodities themselves.
Even though we've already seen the move, Jim, I mean, I want to be putting new money to this now.
Maria, if I'd come to you in 1988 and said buy stocks, you would have said, Jim, the stock market's tripled in 6 years. Are you crazy? And I would have said buy stocks, Maria. And you know what? The stock market went up another 8 or 9 times after that. So yes, I'm telling you, it's up. They've tripled. Got a long way to go.
What about oil? Where are you on oil? You were a bull for a long time. You're going to be buying oil at this level?
I'm not buying oil at this level, but the surprise is going to be how high the price of oil stays and how high it goes. Oil's going to be over $100 eventually, over $150 eventually. Oil has to go much higher because nobody has discovered a major oil field in over 40 years.
Yeah, so what? I mean, we're already above 60, we're around 65, 66. I mean, what are you talking about? You're talking about the old highs, $80?
If you adjust the old highs from the 70s, from the 1970s for inflation, it should be over 100 right now.
Right.
The $80 oil was not even an old high adjusted for inflation.
Real quick on metals, we've got a real rally going on things like FCX, really across the board, you're seeing money moving into the metals and the producers.
Well, I wouldn't be buying them right. I own them. I'm not selling, though. I wouldn't be buying them now. I mean, lead is up, 6 or 8 times. Zinc is up 8 or 9 times in the last
See a
years.
Correction?
I expect a correction, but I expected a correction 3 months ago, too, and it went higher.
All right, we'll leave it there. Jim, always nice to have you on the
Thanks.
program. Thanks so
Great
much.
fun.
Jim Rogers here in the studio with us. And